David Gregory is the moderator of Meet the Press. David, good morning to you.
Hey, Matt, good morning.
David, there was something unusual, if not surreal, about this speech. Normally, when we see a commander-in-chief address the American people, it's at a moment of action or urgency, or immediately following a moment of action like the killing of Osama bin Laden. This speech had no such moment, and in some ways, it almost felt dated. Would you agree?
I would agree, and it almost seemed out of sequence yet again, as a lot of this policy has been up until now. The president had a speech set to try to build the case in the public and in Congress for a military strike. Instead, he comes out and says, I don't want to do anything right now. The speech was about requesting delay, in effect, giving time for diplomacy to work. That's the strange part, and I think that it undercuts his own goal of trying to build support and build the moral case for a strike.
And what caused this moment of pause, as Peter Alexander mentioned, was this Russian proposal to have Assad turn over his chemical weapons. Does the administration have any confidence that Assad will comply with this, or that they'll be able to verify his compliance?
Well, there's a lot of skepticism for sure, but there's also a glimmer of hope. I mean, the light at the end of the tunnel here is that maybe the administration finds itself in a position where, with the threat of force, you could actually have the goal achieved, which is to deter and degrade Assad's chemical weapons cache and maybe have them removed altogether. There are so many difficulties associated with that, and there are trust issues, not just with Assad, but frankly with Putin, who took a rather offhanded comment by Secretary of State Kerry and decided to run with it and say this is the diplomatic opening. So there's a lot of questions to be answered.
There's another question here. Let's say Assad turns over his chemical weapons, in effect stepping back over that so-called red line. What is to stop him then from saying, okay, I'm back on the right side of the red line, but I'm now going to escalate my attacks on my own people and my opposition using conventional weapons?
You know, I think it's a really important point, Matt. And I think there were, as I was monitoring Twitter last night, there were some like Nicholas Kristof of the New York Times and others saying, does it bother anybody that basically we would countenance the deaths of 100,000 civilians with conventional arms and only act when it comes to chemical weapons? And even there, the moral case really hasn't been effectively made. And there's another point, too, which is even if he were to get rid of his chemical weapons, there's still been no punishment for what he's done. And that's what the red line was about, to say if you were moving chemical weapons around or utilizing them, that would change the equation of the administration. He may be in a position to get away with that.
David Gregory. David, thanks very much. Good to see you.